It's Monday, January 9th, and this is now on HNN.
The pent-up demand is very strong.
Right now, travelers streaming into China, eager for long-awaited reunions as Beijing opens borders that have been closed since the start of the pandemic.
We believe this can be a significant benefit to the people of Hawaii.
A state lawmaker unveils a new bill to open a sports gambling room on Oahu.
It's hurtful, it's upsetting.
A social media post of a man urinating at a Kilauea eruption viewing site stirs harsh backlash.
All these stories plus
trying to speak a language that perhaps they understand.
More on Prince Harry's stunning royal family accusations. That's coming up on This Is Now.
And welcome to This Is Now. We'll begin with breaking news. Another huge step in Damar Hamlin's recovery. The Buffalo Bills safety is heading back home to Buffalo today, just 1 week after going into cardiac arrest and being resuscitated on the field. Doctors at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center say he is doing well, maintain he's made remarkable progress. This is a day after his Bills wrapped up the regular season. He was watching the game from his hospital bed, and doctors say when the Bills ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown, he jumped out of his bed and set off every alarm in the ICU. So a remarkable and just amazing recovery for Damar Hamlin. Just a great update to report. He is heading back home.
Love to get started with good news, but we got to get to some other stuff right now. 3 years after virtually being sealed off from the rest of the world, China has finally reopened its borders. It's a major unraveling of its zero COVID policy.
Christy Lou Stout has the latest from Hong Kong.
I'm at Luk Mach House Station, located in Hong Kong's new territories, right across the border from Shenzhen, the Chinese tech capital. And this is the freshly reopened rail crossing between Hong Kong and mainland China. It'd been closed since February of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was opened on Sunday, and we've been witnessing a steady stream of travelers coming through. Now, quarantine is no longer a requirement, but a number of pandemic restrictions are in place. For example, the mask mandate remains out in force. In addition to that, travelers must show proof of a negative COVID-19 PCR test before their journey. And this is going to be a phased reopening. You know, up to 60,000 travelers can travel each day from mainland China to Hong Kong and vice versa from 7 different checkpoints, including this one where I'm standing from. And the demand has been absolutely huge. In fact, as of Sunday evening, over 440,000 Hong Kong residents have signed up for a chance to make the journey. And earlier today, we spoke to a couple of them.
I'm really very happy about the reopening. I'm going to Shenzhen first, and then we'll fly to Chongqing for a few days. I feel like we are going back to pre-COVID times 3 years ago. I will be much happier, and life will turn out for the better.
We are going home. We'll see Grandpa and Grandma. Very happy.
The return of cross-border travel has raised hopes of rebooting Hong Kong's economy, which was hammered hard due to the pandemic and the fact that Hong Kong was isolated for nearly 3 years. But according to the chairman of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, it may take 1 or 2 years before tourism here returns to pre-pandemic levels. Christy Lou Stout, CNN, at the Hong Kong-Shenzhen border.
So Chinese visitors were a growing market for our international tourism industry here in the islands before the pandemic. Want to continue our coverage now on this important topic by tossing things over to Selena Wang. She's having a conversation with the CEO of Chinese travel platform Trip.com.
Since China has announced this border reopening, what kind of trends have you seen for travel bookings?
The pent-up demand is very strong. We have seen 3-digit growth in the search volume for almost all the destinations in Asia, in Europe, and in America. It's a record high since the outbreak of COVID.
Capacity for these international flights in and out of China is still very limited. They're still very expensive. When do you see both the capacity of flights and the pricing coming back to pre-pandemic levels?
Because the demand is exceeding the capacity right now, We expect for the first 1 or 2 quarters, it will take airlines and hotels some time to rehire back their staffs and build up the infrastructure. During the second half of this year, hopefully the infrastructure are back to normal.
And this is also the first Lunar New Year where people can gather with their families without domestic travel restrictions. So what kind of trends are you seeing ahead of the Spring Festival?
We have seen historical record for people to travel to their hometown to reunite with their families.
What kind of interest has Trip.com seen for people trying to get foreign visas to visit China for tourism?
For the business travelers, they cannot wait. Many people send me emails and wanted to schedule meetings already in China.
More than a dozen countries have put some sort of COVID-19 testing requirement on travelers from China. And you even have Morocco banning all travelers from China.
People have the money to spend and the will to spend. So if one area is not accessible, they will spend money in the other areas. We have seen that countries which offer free visa, offer China Welcome Program, normally gets a lot of attractions from the tourists.
So just a short time ago, a local lawmaker introduced a bill to create a sports book and card room. It's the newest effort to legalize some form of gambling in Hawaii. State Rep John Mizuno says people from Hawaii are spending $1 billion each year in Las Vegas. Now, we can't verify that statistic, but he says our state's economy should benefit from all that gambling. Here's some of what was said at today's news conference.
What would it look like? It's not a casino. It would be, if you can picture, like a 24-hour fitness. Anything from 10,000 to 25,000 square feet. We're going to request in the bill a minimum of 10 tables to 30 tables. The sports book operation side of it will be a brick and mortar, not a app, for 2 years. Once established, after the 2 years, after proving yourself, then you can go into the app. What kind of money are we talking about? We're talking about millions.
The image of a man urinating atop Kilauea is circulating on social media, igniting frustration among many. Jelani Martinez has reaction.
The Hawaii Volcanoes National Park says they're disappointed to see the reported depiction of a disrespectful act. They say it not only violates federal regulations, but demonstrates a lack of understanding and disregard for the cultural significance of Kilauea.
You know, it's hurtful, it's upsetting.
Native Hawaiian activist Kumu Hinale Moana Wang Kalu says Hale Ma'uma'u has great symbolism and meaning to her people. She's not surprised by how livid people are after seeing the photo circulating social media Saturday of a man urinating atop Kilauea. The Hawaii Volcanoes National Park says it seems to depict the improper disposal of human waste in a developed area, which is a violation. They say public restrooms are available 24 hours in the park. The person tagged in the photo has since deactivated their account. It's unclear whether the individual is a tourist or resident. However, many are expressing frustration. One says, respect the aina or go back home. Another says, I don't understand why someone would do this.
Many foreigners do not understand how we Kanaka feel about our relationship to the places and spaces here in the islands that we live in.
Back in November, Travis Upright, who recently moved to the Big Island, posted a video of himself urinating on Mauna Kea. After a torrent of criticism, Upright posted a video asking for forgiveness. In the video, he says he had no idea Mauna Kea was sacred to so many people.
As offensive as it is, it just makes me dig my heels in and want to educate our community more.
Wang Kalu is asking visitors to be more conscious and sensitive. She's turning to the community for help in raising awareness.
And I would ask for our Kanaka and Kama'aina alike, and for other foreigners who may live here, please let us consider what kind of Hawaii we create and what kind of Hawaii we endorse in terms of the things that we do and don't do in our home. We all have a responsibility, so let's all do better.
If you see something suspicious or have information that could aid in investigation, you can call or text the ISB tip line at 888-653-0009. Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
So have you noticed some of these cool patterns taking shape on the crater floor there in the national park? Well, I wanted to spend some time now explaining exactly what we're seeing. Several areas of active fountaining or upwelling on the surface of the crater have been documented. So take a look at that cracked web-like pattern in this nighttime view. As the lava reaches the lake's surface, it immediately begins to cool and radiates away from the source, those fountains. This cooled lava forms thin plates made of lava crust, which grows and extends as it continues to be pushed away. So when those thin plates are radiating away from two sources or two fountains, they meet, and then a line of spattering forms as they interact, and that's what's making this cool pattern. So this process is pretty similar to what happens when two tectonic plates converge. Something else cool to show you, see that island amid the lava? That formed during the opening phase of the 2020 eruption. At last report, it still exists and has not yet been overtopped by lava from the reawakened activity. I cannot get enough of those images.
Same here. You can watch it all day.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to show you this, a live view right now looking into the crater. I was just looking at the update from HVO USGS, and they're saying the activity is still ongoing within the crater. Again, no threat to any structures or lives, livelihoods, or property, anything like that. Of course, it's in the safe spot where we can all go see it, but it is cooled down just a bit. I'm reading right now that it was now concentrated to that one fountain that we're watching go off live right there on the right side of your screen, but looking cool still. The nighttime viewing, obviously, always better.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll have a link to this live feed on our website, and you can just very easily find it on USGS as well. So what is the weather going to be like this week for anyone heading over there to view the volcano? Here's Billy V with that update.
Monday, Tuesday, these 2 days right here, they're going to be nice weather. So, you know, kind of calm conditions, light winds. So maybe you can do some evening walking, maybe early evening. That might be kind of nice. Take the plants out Tuesday night because as Tuesday overnight into Wednesday, we're going to get rain. And then they'll get, you know, some nice soaking there outside. Thursday and Friday, we're going to start to dry out. And that sets you up for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, which is going to be just wonderful weather. So good weather. A little bit of rain, good weather. That's your 7-day forecast.
All right, we got to give you a first alert to a developing weather situation there on the mainland. Millions of Californians are bracing for the potential of even more flooding. This is following what we already saw last week. NBC's Marissa Parra has the very latest.
Yeah, the rain and the wind is just relentless here in California. So we're at Capitola Beach. This is south of San Francisco and Santa Cruz. Take a look. This is not what it normally looks like. Normally, this looks like a normal beach, but it is just covered with debris. And really what this is evidence of the repeated storms that have just been passing through here. This is from the last cycle of bomb cyclones that were coming through here. As we know, this weekend they were pummeled with rain, and here we go again. And here's why it matters. You have businesses like the one behind me, which are already vulnerable from this last cycle of storms. They suffered from damage from not just the wind, but the waves, which brought logs into the windows, even taking away part of the pier over there. This is Capitola's wharf. So what we have are situations where the ground is already waterlogged. The area is prone to mudslides and flooding. So this is going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. Back to you.
On the heels of a stunning Netflix docuseries, Prince Harry once again speaking out about his estrangement from the royal family. Isabel Rosales digs into the palace intrigue and what this means for the monarchy. Isabel.
Hey, Mark, Prince Harry spilling the tea and certainly pulling no punches ahead of his tell-all memoir. In it, he's sharing deeply personal and shocking revelations about his family.
I love my family. I always do.
Prince Harry revealing intimate details of his life and the breakdown of the relationship with his royal family in a new set of interviews ahead of the Tuesday release of his memoir, Spare.
Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been any intention to harm them or hurt them.
This all comes as Harry continues to push back against what he calls the institution, casting a litany of allegations against the inner workings of the monarchy, while also candidly speaking about the death of his mother, Princess Diana.
I don't think my family knew what to do. I wish I had the ability or the opportunity to do some form of therapy.
On Good Morning America Monday, the Duke of Sussex took responsibility for his role in the breakdown of the relationship with his brother, Prince William, and said his mother would feel sad over its current state.
I think she would be heartbroken that it's ended up where it's ended up.
Harry further admitted he hasn't spoken with his stepmother, Camilla, the Queen Consort, for a long time.
I love every member of my family, despite the differences. So when I see her, we're perfectly pleasant with each other.
Harry also expressed disdain for the British tabloid press and its interactions with the monarchy. Thus far, Buckingham Palace has been silent.
They're pretty hamstrung. They can't use the old way of doing it with leaks and briefings and what have you, because that's exactly what Harry's railing about.
But Harry appears to be set on making his voice heard.
I don't know how staying silent is ever going to make things better. That's genuinely what I believe.
And Mark, there's been wall-to-wall headlines in the British press about his interviews ahead of his book and the book excerpts that we have so far as well. Some Britons expressing just shock at how much he is saying in that book, and others sympathy too for what he said about his mother's death and his struggles, the family struggles with her death as well. And Mark, a lashing out too by Britons.
Yeah, and Isabel, between this and what we saw with Netflix, a lot of information is out there. But why did Prince Harry write this book?
And certainly there are a lot of questions within the British people about why is he airing out all of this deeply personal, dirty laundry, so to say, of the family. But in the interviews, Prince Harry says that he's tried every other method possible, from speaking face-to-face with his family about concerns, from writing letters, writing emails, and nothing has been resolved. So he feels that this is the only way forward and a way to also tell his own story in his own words. So not only is he setting the record straight, but this book is going to be a part of the record itself, a part of royal family history for decades to come, Mark.
And I can imagine this is not the final chapter. Isabel Rosales, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Well, let's take a gander at what else the interweb talking about today. And pasta lovers, listen up to this next story. Yeah, that's because Ronzoni announced that it will no longer be making tiny star-shaped pasta. Teeny. What? Yeah, I've seen it in the stores, never had it myself. Yeah, they say it's because they are no longer able to use a long-time supplier and they will not be able to make the pasta anymore. There's already an online petition to get the pasta back on the shelves. Yes, it has 2,800 signatures. So, Mark, I took a quick Google search because this just reminded me of some other food products we've lost over the last year. Get this, we've lost the Choco Taco. There was outrage about that, right? Yep. Honest Tea, which I loved, that bottled Honest Tea.
Very good.
The McDonald's McRib, which I feel like has went back and forth.
That's always been a seasonal thing, right?
Yeah.
So like we can expect it by maybe summertime, something like that.
They'll probably bring that one. Yep. And I forgot about this, but this is a big one, which I hope they bring back. Wendy's Vanilla Frosties.
That's gone?
Yes. Yeah, because they started doing the special flavors. Like, I know there was a strawberry, and then so that knocked out vanilla.
Well, you know, when it comes to those things, I always think back to the epic return of the Mexican pizza, how it was taken off the Taco Bell menu, and then
huge news.
You go back to last year, how it was reintroduced, and just the groundswell of support, and now a permanent spot back on the menu.
Just in time for the reopening of our Kalihi Taco Bell, which forced a huge line out there for several days.
So you just look at that, all right? So, you know, nothing is ever over. What's also been trending online, it's been an emotional week for the Buffalo Bills following the events surrounding Damar Hamlin. We showed you the great update at the top of the show. He's going back home. He's making great progress. Now, the Bills ended the regular season with a win yesterday, beating the Patriots. And we got this cute moment at the post-game press conference with offensive lineman Deion Dawkins, and he brought his daughter to the podium. Take a look.
I truly think. Buka, can I answer this question, please? Okay, and just real quick. Can I have like 30 seconds? Okay, thank you. I think that with being a professional.
Great moment.
Yes, I can just completely identify with this with my 2-year-old twins and my 1.5-year-old daughter. If I brought them to work at all and they were on the desk, they would do the same, or like they would speak into the mic.
Yeah, kids say the darndest things, right? That's the classic TV show, and it's true.
Yeah, touching moment. You always got to love kids at the press conference. Well, this week, all last week, we were talking about the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It's all wrapped up. And when it came to a close, we got a slew of new robots to see. Let's take a look.
Today's robots can help ship packages, serve food at restaurants, and vacuum the carpet. Now there's one that will mow the yard and clear snow. The Yarbo is an autonomous robot that uses artificial intelligence to navigate a yard and avoid obstacles.
You tell it what the boundaries are of your yard, but it mostly uses its own sensors to know where to go and what not to hit.
Brian Cooley from CNET says robots can also assist farmers. John Deere already has self-driving tractors. Now sensors on a robotic attachment can differentiate between weeds and crops to deploy weed killers sparingly. And a new system called Exact Shot makes sure fertilizer is only used on the plants that need it.
They're able, they say, to reduce fertilizer use by 60% in the best case on a large farm.
From the farm to the hospital. It's very nice to meet you. The AO robot is designed to assist medical workers. It can respond to voice commands, carry up to 8 pounds, and uses an infrared camera to move through facilities on its own.
It can go and check on residents. It can do deliveries overnight and just work all night in the dark.
AO can also take pictures.
Hey Siri, take a selfie.
The 1 in a million robot dog.
And meet Doggy from Wowie Toys. This RoboPup responds to petting and communicates through its tail. And each one is unique.
The personality could be sweet, it could be lazy, it could be protective, it could be active, etc. There's over 1 million different combinations of what you can get.
The Doggy sells for $80 and should be available in the summer. Elise Preston, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Very cool stuff. Always cool stuff coming out of that Vegas
always.
CES. That farming equipment thing was fascinating to me. My dad's still a farmer. I am going to send him that link because that could save some money. If you just
would he be open to allowing the robot go into the field?
That would be interesting because he is a bit of an old timer, but it is amazing the way farm technology has evolved since I was a kid. You can have self-guidance in a lot of the crop tractor equipment and planting equipment already that pretty much you can just let it go.
Yeah, very revolutionary what's happening.
All right, let's talk about a couple things we have coming up on Hawaii News now. Coming up right after this, we're going to do an extended live stream on our digital platforms, and there we are going to play out that entire press conference regarding that new gaming bill. A lot of people talking about it, a lot of people interested in it. Also, coming up a little bit later at 4, we got our Casey Lund out looking for whales today. We'll see if he had any luck, but more importantly, he has some good advice for people who are trying to do so. And speaking of whales, we're going to leave you with just that, some brand new whale videos sent to us from the Big Island.